Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 709th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. And what a cracking battle I've got for you today. Okay, as you'll see, this is fought on my favourite map, the Germanic forest map, with the big open plains. You know, as we said lots of times before, all the woods there where you can hide your troops and spring those ambushes. Plus, if you bring a barbarian faction, you get the winter bonus and the woods bonus as well. So that's why I like this map so much. There's so much going for it, and that's why you notice that I host on it quite a lot. Okay, our first teammate is someone who called himself OTD Chinrazig, but actually is Scorpion King SR, and he's got 11 infantry, 4 archers and 5 cavalry. Okay, 11 infantry, 4 archers and 5 cavalry. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry there, and you'll see that he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. Remember, Scorpion King has got no saved armies. He builds custom armies for every battle there. So it'll be interesting to see how well he does with that army during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is somebody who's called himself Striker Q, but is in fact Brotherhood member Uther. Now, Uther's got 6 cavalry, 11 infantry and 3 archers. Okay, so 6 cavalry, 11 infantry, 3 archers. If you notice here, he's got an eagle unit plus his infantry general, so he's got a lot of morale going on there for his infantry. Always nice to have a good lot of morale. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. So it'd be interesting to see how well he does with that army during the course of the battle. That'll probably be a tried and tested Uther army there. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Pompey. Now, Pompey's got 12 infantry, 4 archers and just 4 cavalry. Okay, so 12 infantry, 4 archers and 4 cavalry. Unusual army, I think, for Pompey. If you notice, his infantry will have mixed upgrades. There you are, you can see some of his units have got an experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and other units are just gold shield, gold attack. So as I say, he's got mixed upgrades within his infantry. Okay, quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So there's Pompey's army, looks pretty good there. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's got his very old Roman army of 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, so there's our team. This should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Luke. Now, Luke has got 7 slingers, 6 cavalry and just 7 sacred band spearmen. Unusual to see Luke bring Carthage, so it's quite an unusual army build there. 7 slingers, 6 cavalry and just 7 spearmen. If you notice here, he's fully upgraded his sacred band cavalry here. Okay, so they've got 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. And he's got a lot of slingers as well, but just 7 spearmen. That does seem a little bit low for a Carthage army. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe he thinks the maximum upgraded cavalry might make up for 7 spearmen there. It'll be interesting to see how he handles this army during the course of the battle. As I say, normally with a Carthage army, you might have 12 or 14 spearmen, and then maybe an assortment of slingers and cavalry on top of that. You know, usually the spearmen are the bulk of the army there. So that's an unusual army build. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Earth. Now, Earth has also got an unusual army build: 6 slingers, 8 sacred band spearmen and 6 cavalry. Okay, so he's also got what I would suggest is possibly an unusual army build. If you notice here, he's got 8 upgrades on his spearmen, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, which makes me think he's probably, he's got 8 upgrades on his sacred band cavalry. So he's also got really well upgraded cavalry, but a small amount of sacred band spearmen. So to say, a very unusual army. And look at the amount of slingers that they're bringing. Loads and loads of slingers, small amount of spears, and maximum upgraded cavalry. Let's see what their next teammate has got there. And that is someone who's called himself Sad But Packing, but is in fact Chucky. A lot of you know Chucky. And once again, he's got 6 slingers, 8 spearmen, and 6 cavalry. So once again, another low amount of spears. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his spearman. He's just got 7 upgrades on his spearman, which I think tells me he's probably maximum upgraded his yeah, there you go, maximum upgraded sacred band cavalry. So 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and once again loads of slingers, but only 8 spearmen there. So once again, it seems like these guys have built unusual army builds, or is this the modern Carthage army build that I'm looking at here, for all 3 of them to bring basically the same type of spearmen there? And I'm just doing a spear count there, and I can see that they've got 23 altogether sacred band spearmen. Okay, so 3 armies of Carthage, they've only got 23 spearmen between all 3 armies. So, and loads of slingers and maximum upgraded cavalry. So as I say, maybe this is the new way to use Carthage. I don't know. You know me, I'm a bit old school, a bit old fashioned, but it does seem a low number of spearmen to me. But as I say, this might be the new modern way of using Carthage there. Less spears, maximum upgraded cavalry, and loads of slingers. So I think they've got 19 slingers between them as well, which for an old-fashioned, old-school player like me seems quite a lot. But it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. Their last teammate is RV Monarch. Okay, and RV Monarch has got 3 berserkers, 5 chosen axemen, 2 knight raiders, 2 archers, and 6 cavalry. Okay, and his 6 cavalry, as you can see, have got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Remember that Gothic cavalry is really good cavalry. Check out the specifications on them and you'll see how good they are. Okay, so that is the enemy team. Unusual to see 3 Carthage armies in the team. Should be a great battle for you to watch. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you'll see the enemy team coming round our left flank. There's an overview of our team as it stands at the moment. But as I say, you'll see that I'm turning my Scipii army to face the threat of the enemy coming round our left flank here. Okay, you can see RV Monarch moving his Germanic army round the left flank. Remember, he's got a lot of infantry there. I think if I remember correctly, he's got berserkers, chosen axemen, knight raiders, and 6 well upgraded cavalry. There's his berserkers there running towards that flank. But as I say, you can definitely see them moving around our flank there. And it's moving their archers and slingers around our flank as well. So, as I say, you can see that I'm moving my army there to try and counter that move on our left flank. You see me moving my cavalry over there as well. Now, I think I was in 2 minds here about attacking those slinger and archer units there with my cavalry. But then again, I thought to myself, well, if I do that, the Germanic cavalry would probably intercept me, and also I would then have missiles shooting into my cavalry as well as fighting the Germanic cavalry. So I decided not to attack there with my cavalry. But you'll see here I'm moving my infantry forward. On this flank, if I remember correctly in this battle, I think I'm quite aggressive on this flank with my Scipii army. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second there. So as I say, here you can see I'm facing the Germanic army of RV Monarch, and you can see that Chucky's Carthage army is coming around there. Here you'll see Pompey there. He's facing, I think it's some of Chucky's army. And here, this is a good move here by Uther, attacking the enemy slingers there with his cavalry. Notice he's got his cavalry in normal formation, not wedge. And of course, he uses the cavalry in normal formation because they're faster in normal formation there. So that's what he's using them there for, to try and take out some of the enemy slingers. Nice, aggressive attacking move there by Uther. Okay, meanwhile, over on our right flank here, you'll see that Scorpion King SR is facing the slingers, cavalry, and spearmen of Luke's Carthage army there. So, be interesting to see what happens over on this right flank. As I say, very unusual to face a team with 3 Carthage factions in it. And especially with the low number of spearmen that they've got as well. Did you know, as I said earlier, they've only got 23 sacred band spearmen between them, but they've got 19 slingers and I think 24 maximum upgraded cavalry. So it'll be interesting to see what happens during the course of the battle. This is a nice attack here by Scorpion King SR, once again attacking the slingers there of the enemy troops. So nice move there, but he needs to move his cavalry back there a little bit. He doesn't really want to tangle with those spearmen. So as I say, it was a nice attack there by Scorpion King there over on our right flank. Okay, but as I say, they've got 19 slingers between them, so they've got a lot of firepower there. But they'd have to get in close to use that firepower, because of course slingers are short range. Right. Meanwhile, over here you'll see, as I say, my Scipio army facing the Germanic army and a few units of Chucky's Carthage Sacred Band units there. And as I say, there you can see the Germanic infantry there moving around to our left quite aggressively there. You've got the slingers and the archers there as well as the infantry and cavalry. So this is a really aggressive attacking move here, I think, by the enemy, moving these troops round here. And they look like they may well be targeting my Scipii army. As I say, the missile numbers that the enemy troops have got are quite phenomenal, really. They've got a heck of a lot of missile troops. All those slingers, plus the Germanic archers as well, shooting in on us. If you notice here, I'm moving my army back a little bit there. I'm going to change the kind of way that they're facing, the trajectory of the way that my army is facing here, obviously to face that Germanic infantry head on. I don't want them coming in on my flank or anything like that. So you'll notice that I will change my formation's placement as the Germanic troops move around our flank there. Okay, so let's just pause again for a second. So as I say here, you'll see I'm moving my infantry round there to face the threat of that Germanic infantry that keeps moving round our left flank there. So as I say, I'm going to face that head on. Here you can see Pompey being his usual aggressive self here and moving towards Chucky's spearmen. Okay, so nice aggressive move there by Pompey. And over here you'll see Uther there facing, I think it's Earth's spearmen there, and here nice move here by Scorpion King using his cavalry to chase down those missile units of the enemy troops. And over here on our right flank, as I say, you got Scorpion King's Julii army facing Luke's Carthage army here over on our right flank. So there's a general overview of what's happening at this early stage of the battle. Okay, but as I say there, you can see me changing the way that I'm facing there with my infantry to make sure that I'm going to face that Germanic army head on there. Okay, as I say, Pompey was quite aggressive earlier there, moving his Brutii infantry towards Chucky's spearmen. But notice here how I'm moving my infantry towards Pompey a bit as well. I don't want to be too isolated away from my allies, but I remember, as I say, during the course of this battle, I think I was quite aggressive on this left flank towards that Germanic army, but we'll just have to wait and see. I've got my cavalry locked and loaded there to counter the Germanic cavalry if it decides to attack. Okay, as you can see. So now they're, as I say, it looked to me like the way the Germanic army was moving around that left flank that they were going to target my Scipio army. So it'd be interesting to see if that's what they're going to do. As I say, here you can see Pompey moving his infantry forward. He'd love to get in range of those spears so he could throw loads of pilers in. And as I say, you can see that Uther's facing Earth's Carthage Sacred Band units there. Right here, can you see I am now moving my army towards that Germanic army there. Okay, so I'm going to be very aggressive towards that Germanic army on our left flank. Not going to let them dictate the battle here. We're going to take the battle to them. We're going to take the initiative on this particular flank. Okay, so what I wanted to do here was take that Germanic army head on. Now, you might think that's strange that a Roman army wants to take a Germanic army on that it's got a lot of berserkers in. Well, just to show you that my army is what I call, it's an old-fashioned morale based army. Can you see I've got 2 eagle units plus an infantry general, plus most of my units have got an experience stripe on. So this infantry formation is very morale based. Okay, now remember that the Germanic army relies on these berserker units taking away the morale of enemy troops. Okay, the reason these berserkers are so powerful and can cause chain routes within Roman armies is because mostly it's the morale sapping abilities that they've got. Taking the morale away from enemy troops, Night Raiders as well, taking morale away from enemy troops, making them more susceptible to routing, destabilizing them as well, making them even more susceptible to routing. But of course, with all the morale in my army, I'm hoping that that will neutralize the morale sapping effect of the berserkers. Do you see what I mean? So I've got so much morale in my army that as I say, the morale sapping abilities of the berserkers and Night Raiders will be neutralized by the amount of morale in my army. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. That's why I'm being so aggressive towards Germania, which might surprise a few people, because we've seen so many Roman armies chain route when they're attacked by Germania and their allies. So it'll be interesting to see what the Germanic general's going to do here. It wouldn't surprise me if he took his cavalry up round the flank to smash into the flank of my infantry, maybe while he attacks at the front of my infantry. So it'll be interesting to see what Monarch's going to do here. But as you can see, I'm moving forward. I'm taking the battle to the enemy here on this left flank. Okay, I know my allies are there to back me up as well for any problems, but as I say, I'm thinking that Germanic cavalry could go round my flank there with a view to charge in, as I said earlier, as the Germanic infantry engage the forward units of my battle formation. You'll see Chucky is bringing some of his Carthage sacred band over into the fray as well. Okay, you can see that Chucky's bringing those units over there to help his Germanic ally, maybe against my army there. So this will be quite an interesting tussle here on the left flank. Germanic cavalry, Germanic infantry, Carthage cavalry maybe, Carthage spearmen. I've got my cavalry locked and loaded here to try and neutralise any Germanic cavalry moving around the flank. Of course, if they do move around the flank and attack, I will counter with my cavalry. We've got Pompey's cavalry right behind my infantry there. And if you notice now, you'll see that Pompey's starting to move some of his units over towards my infantry, because he can see that the enemy spearmen in front of him are moving over towards me as well. So that's a good bit of help there by Pompey coming my way. As I say, here you can see Uther facing Earth's sacred band spearmen there. And over on the right flank here, as I say, it's going to be a real tussle, I think, between Luke here. You can see Luke's got a couple of his maximum upgraded cavalry right out here on the right here, maybe threatening the flank of Scorpion King's infantry. And as I say, you can see that Luke's infantry, his spearmen there, really spread out. So it'd be interesting to see how Scorpion King deals with that situation on the right flank. Okay, so but over here on the left, as I say, it looks like the enemy troops are weighing up my army here, maybe for an attack. As I say, I want to keep my infantry facing forward towards that Germanic infantry. I don't want to let that Germanic infantry come around my flank. So you'll notice that I keep moving my infantry to try and face that Germanic infantry head on. As you can see, I've just moved there. And as we thought earlier, can you see the Germanic cavalry coming up round the flank of my infantry there? Okay, so this is a good tactical move. New players to Rome Total War watching this battle. This cavalry here, look, wedge formation for more penetration, more impact, more damage there, ready to slam into the flank of my infantry, while the Germanic infantry attacks the front of my battle formation there. Right, can you see, once again, I'm moving my infantry back there so that my infantry is facing that Germanic infantry head on as much as I can. Okay, and you can see that Germanic infantry there, and you can also see the Carthage cavalry as well. Right, let's pause the game for a second. Right, so you've got all the Germanic infantry, including the berserkers, now heading towards my Scipii troops, plus, okay, so you've got all the berserkers, Night Raiders, and all the Germanic infantry moving towards my troops, plus the fully upgraded sacred band cavalry of Chucky. So the impact on my infantry here could be massive by all these enemy troops pouring in on me here. Plus, as I say, you've got Germanic cavalry here that could well come in on my flanks there. So as I say, this is going to be a massive hit on my infantry from what I can see at the moment. Right there you are, you can see that Germanic infantry. Right, you can see Chucky's cavalry charging into the forward units of my battle formation, and then he backs off. Can you see he's backed his cavalry off there, and now the Germanic infantry is charging in. You can see this Germanic cavalry coming in on the flanks of my infantry there, but my cavalry is going to counter that as I said it would do, and bang! My cavalry smashes in there. What a hit. Right, here comes that fully upgraded Carthage cavalry. Once again, look, he was going to charge it in and then backed his cavalry off. So now he's just left his Germanic general infantry there to attack my battle formation, and Chucky is backed his cavalry off, leaving the Germanic general now to attack on his own there. So I thought Chucky was going to charge his cavalry in there to help his ally, but he backed off there. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. Now I've got Pompey's cavalry there plus my cavalry fighting this Germanic cavalry, so that was a nice bit of support there by Pompey. Well done to him. You've got some Germanic infantry heading our way towards our cavalry there. There you are, you got Chucky's cavalry. Let's see what he's going to do with that. Great support by Uther's Julii cavalry. Look, come over here, took out all that Germanic infantry, and you just got those couple of berserker units left now attacking. There you can see Pompey bringing his infantry over as well. So on this left flank, I think we seem to be doing quite well. Here you can see Uther. Now I'm not sure which way Uther's going to move his army at this time. We don't know whether he's going to come over, thinks we might need help over there, or whether he's going to move his army over to help Scorpion King. I see Earth is moving his spearmen over to that flank to help Luke against Scorpion King with his fully upgraded cavalry and his spearmen there. So it'll be interesting, as I say, to see how Scorpion King manages over here against two lots of Carthage army. As I say, you got Luke's cavalry out here ready to charge in when he's ready. And as I say, it looks increasingly here like Scorpion King is facing Earth and Luke's Carthage army there. Okay. You can see those couple of spear units there. You can see Luke has taken them out of the spear phalanx there and is attacking with his secondary weapon, the sword, towards that cavalry. Okay, but meanwhile, over on our left flank here, as I say, it looked like Chucky was going to charge in to help his Germanic ally, and then decided to pull his cavalry out of the fray. Didn't even attack, didn't even help his Germanic ally there. So obviously there must have been a tactical reason for that. Maybe he saw Uther's cavalry coming across there and decided not to attack. Nice hit here by Uther into the rear of the Germanic cavalry, and bang! As he smashes in there, sandwiching that Germanic cavalry. Look, hammer and anvil attack. My cavalry and Pompey's cavalry being the anvil, and Uther's cavalry being the hammer there. And now, there we are. It looks to me like we've basically taken out the Germanic army. I think there's one berserker left. There you are. The last berserker of the Germanic army there. I think he's just about to be swamped and killed, and there he was, swamped and killed by Brutii troops there. Okay, so good news for us on the left flank. We've basically taken out the whole of the Germanic army there. Okay, the whole of the Germanic army. It looks like there might be a couple of archer units left maybe, but for all intents and purposes, the Germanic army of the enemy has now been taken out there. Okay, so as I say, over here you can see Uther has moved his Julii army over to help Scorpion King SR, but I think Scorpion King here has got two lots of fully upgraded enemy cavalry fighting against him here, plus there's a couple of spear units in there, and oh my gosh, it looks like Scorp has lost basically all of his cavalry here. Can you see there? It looks like all of his cavalry has now been taken out by the combined cavalry of Earth and Luke. So Earth and Luke have worked well together over on this right flank against Scorpion King. And as I say, it looks like Scorpion King's lost basically all his cavalry. So if you notice here, he's now moving his infantry over here and consolidating his position with Uther there. So it's not looking very good on our right flank here. I think Luke and Earth combined very well there. Let's say I think that's the only cavalry unit that Scorpion King's got left, because I'm pretty sure these cavalry units won't be allowed to rally because Luke will chase them down. So I'm just thinking there that Scorpion King's probably just going to have one cavalry unit left there. As you can see, Uther's got his cavalry in behind their infantry, but there you are, you've got all those Carthage Sacred Band spearmen and cavalry could start moving over towards us now. If you notice here, I've moved my Scipii army over here because I think Uther shouted out to move over to help on that right flank. So that's left Pompey over on the left flank here trying to finish off Chucky's army. Okay, but remember, Chucky's got fully upgraded cavalry. He's got cavalry on that flank, if you notice, 4. And he's got 2 cavalry on the other flank as well. Now, what he may well want Pompey to do is engage his spearmen. Can you see? You might want him to engage his spearmen, and then he attacks from both flanks with his cavalry. Okay, imagine that fully upgraded cavalry there going in and attacking engaged Brutii troops. So that's what I think, looking at the positioning of his cavalry, that's what he would like. But there you can see he's starting to move his spearmen back a little bit. As I said earlier, when his Germanic ally attacked my army, you could see that Chucky was going to charge his cavalry in to help his Germanic ally, and then decided not to, twice. Did you notice that? So I'm not sure what his Germanic ally thought about that, but I would have expected him, and maybe if he'd have charged his cavalry in, he could have rammed home that Germanic attack. But as I say, maybe he saw Uther's cavalry coming in and thought, you best not to attack there. But as I say, you can see Chucky now attacking there with his cavalry into the flank of our Brutii ally there. Did some damage there. So as I say, Pompey here is going to try and finish off Chucky if he can. But remember, that Sacred Band cavalry is fully upgraded, okay? And that's makes that cavalry quite tough. And of course, when you're up against these spear units as well, we know the Carthage Sacred Band spearmen are quite tough as well, especially with the upgrades that they've got on them as well. Okay, so as I say, you can see that Uther's Julii army and Scorpion King SR's Julii armies have kind of combined. I've got my Scipii army over there as well. But what I'm thinking here is that Earth and Luke may well take their fully upgraded cavalry over to the other flank. Do you see what I mean there? If they actually run their cavalry over to the other flank, they could do some untold damage on Pompey's infantry over there. So we need to keep an eye on that, because as I say, that could be a very dangerous move for Pompey. It's alright having our infantry here watching their infantry, but really we may well need cavalry over there to help Pompey. Or I can see Uther moving some of his cavalry over there. He's walking them over at the moment so they don't get tired. There you got a couple of units of Chucky's there, look, that he's spearmen there moving over there towards his other troops over there. Okay, but as I say, Pompey looked like he could finish these guys off. I remember, because when I moved back over to the other flank, I thought, well, Pompey's got it all under control over here. Here were like Pompey trying to sandwich those Carthage units onto the red line. If you could sandwich them onto the red line, look, the moment they rout, they just go over that red line, no chance of rallying. Over here you can see Chucky moving his cavalry around there, attacking isolated Brutii infantry units. But as I say, you can see Uther's Julii cavalry has just arrived there. As I say here, if they can take out Chucky's general, obviously that would be a really good move. Take the general morale bonus away from the enemy troops there. So as I say, you can see Pompey really moving in on those spear units there. And as I say, nice move here by Uther. Nice support there. But if you notice, you will see that the enemy cavalry have come over as we thought they would. Both Luke's and Earth's fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. And the problem for us is, if I remember in this battle, instead of rallying our cavalry and massing our cavalry together, we tried taking this Sacred Band cavalry on separately. And that was a really bad tactical mistake. Right here you can see Chucky's fully upgraded cavalry there. And you can see Earth's and Luke's cavalry over there as well. Now what I'm thinking here, they're going to hit Uther's cavalry, if he's not careful, from two sides. So we'll just see what they're going to do there. You can see that cavalry moving in there towards Earth. I'm bringing my Scipii cavalry over as well, you might notice. I'm bringing my Scipii cavalry over as well. But remember that Earth and Luke's cavalry and Chucky's cavalry are, I believe, fully upgraded cavalry, okay? Where my cavalry is not. I don't know about Uther's. Here you can see my Scipii cavalry coming over now. Now what I'm thinking here, I'm going to take on these two Sacred Band cavalry units there, like them bang as I charge in there. But now look at all the other Sacred Band cavalry coming over to take my Scipii cavalry on now. So So you can see a lot of fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry charging into my Scipii cavalry. Now bearing in mind, I think my Scipii cavalry for this battle is just gold shield, gold attack, and I'm up against fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. So there you are, you can see my Scipii cavalry facing that Sacred Band cavalry there. Now I was just thinking here, if Uther, see, he's chasing those other cavalry units away there. I was just hoping that if the enemy infantry, if my allies' infantry could get over to help there, we could take out all this Sacred Band cavalry. But look what's just arriving here, Luke's fully upgraded cavalry, and he, make no mistake, is going to smash into the back of my Scipii cavalry, and my whole cavalry could be taken out at this stage. Hammer and anvil attack here, look, with Luke's cavalry being the hammer. Now it's okay, we've got all our infantry over here, look how far away those Sacred Band spearmen are. We don't need our infantry here, we need our infantry on the other flank where our cavalry is fighting all that fully upgraded cavalry there. So I remember thinking about that at the time. What are we all stood there for? Well, we all needed to be on the other flank. But here comes Luke's fully upgraded cavalry smashing into the rear of my Scipii cavalry, and bang, as they slam in there. So a nice hammer and anvil attack there. And so now all my cavalry, all my Scipii cavalry has now been taken out. Okay, here you can see Uther's Julii cavalry charging forward there, and some Brutii cavalry of Pompey's there. Okay, but look, just look at the number of enemy cavalry dotted around there. Fully upgraded cavalry. Okay, so they've taken my Scipii cavalry, and there they're going for Uther's cavalry. Make no mistake about this, and bang, as they charge in there. And now the other units there, look, and bang, as they charge in right. So all my cavalry has now been taken out, and now all of Uther's cavalry has now been taken out. Okay, so you can see all of Uther's cavalry. Let's say if you look into the snow there, you'll see all my Scipii cavalry dead as well. So as I say, all of Uther's cavalry are dead, all of my cavalry are dead now, and I think most of Pompey's cavalry is dead as well. So make no mistake, the enemy now have got a big cavalry advantage on us. Okay, yes, we may well have an infantry advantage, but they have got a cavalry advantage now with fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. As I say, we made a mistake there of fighting that fully upgraded cavalry separately. My cavalry got taken out first, then Uther's. What we should have done is combined our cavalry and fought them together. I remember we both said that after we lost our cavalry there. That's what we should have done. So as I say, the enemy now have got a definite cavalry advantage, and they're going to make full advantage of that now. Like, and bang, as they charge in to Pompey's tired infantry. There, look how they're charging, like, bang! Remember, fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. Very, very tough there. There you are, they've taken that group of Pompey's Brutii infantry out. Okay, so all that's been taken out there. So very, very powerful cavalry. We're moving our infantry over now, so the enemy will move their cavalry away from our infantry, but make no mistake, the enemy have got a big cavalry advantage there, and make no mistake, they will make the most of that. And as I say, we've made the mistake of losing all our cavalry. So infantry that has no cavalry can be really exposed to a lot of damage by enemy cavalry. So there you go. You can see we're moving our infantry over. We'd like to obviously trap the enemy cavalry between us and the red line, but make no mistake, they will get out of there. We might take these two spear units out. There's a unit. Uther's rallied one of his cavalry units. That's good news. So we've got one cavalry unit anyway. So let's say we're probably, I think those two Carthage Sacred Band units there were put there to try and delay our attack, to give them time to get their cavalry away. I think that may well be the reason those two spear units have been sacrificed there, just to give their, as I say, give their cavalry time to move away there. But as I say, here you can see there's those two units gone. I think Pompey's infantry, if I remember correctly, is actually exhausted at this stage of the battle. So now we've got all our infantry here now. All four of our armies, what we've got left of our infantry is here now. And as I say, with no cavalry. So there you go. And you can see now that the enemy Sacred Band Spearmen from the other flank are starting to move towards us here. But as I say, make no mistake, the enemy now has a cavalry advantage on us, and they will make the most of that, and could prove pivotal towards the end of the battle, as you may well see. Okay, but here you can see the enemy spearmen moving over now towards us, and we're kind of going into phase 2 of this battle now as those enemy spearmen come towards us. Imagine if those spearmen pin and engage us, and then we get smashed by that enemy cavalry. As I say, here you can see Pompey's infantry. Look how they run. Can you see how the way that they run? They are exhausted troops here. If you notice, if you ever look at your troops when they're exhausted, look at the way they run. You can see the way they run. They're laboured in the way that they run. So what we said to Pompey is, right, you need to rest your troops. Before we do anything else, we're going to rest Pompey's troops there. Obviously, before we get into any more fighting with the enemy troops there. Okay, but as I say, you can see the enemy slingers and fresh spear units moving towards us. And as I say, we've got to keep an eye on that enemy cavalry advantage that the enemy have there. But at this time, we're not going to do any aggressive moves. Oh, there you are. We've got 3 cavalrymen left. That's the entirety of our cavalry for 4 armies. Three cavalrymen. That's it. The rest of our cavalry is dead. So that's a big advantage to the enemy team there. And as I say, we're not going to do anything aggressive at all now at the moment, where we're letting Pompey's infantry rest. Very, very important. Remember, if you try fighting infantry that's tired, very tired or exhausted, their morale is low, their battle proficiency is dropped off the edge of a cliff, so you need to let your troops rest there, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's say, on my guesses here, that Scorpion King is going to cover the flank there against the enemy cavalry attack. And as I say, I've got my infantry facing those spearmen when they come across, and Pompey will just rest here now until his troops have recovered. But as I say, I think all his troops were exhausted. They were chasing that cavalry over on this flank for a long time there. So there we go. And as I say, it's kind of now we're going to go into phase 2 of the battle at this stage now. As you can see, both teams are kind of organising and preparing for the next phase of the battle. Okay, make no mistake, it's going to be very tactical, very strategic. And as I said, maybe the cavalry advantage that the enemy have got now could prove absolutely pivotal towards the end of the battle. Okay, as I say, you got Scorpion King there watching our flank against any potential cavalry attack, and Uther's moving his infantry forward as well. As I say, we're moving into phase 2 of the battle now. Okay, at this stage of the battle here, you'll see that Luke and Earth have combined their spears here. Okay, so they've actually combined their spear armies here, and they've moved round to the left here. Do you remember they were over there earlier, and now they've moved round to the left? Okay. So as I say, they've combined their spears. They could well be taking those spears into the woods, maybe. That's where they may decide to form up, or maybe this little kind of clearing there they may form up into. But as I say, Luke and Earth have combined their spearmen there. And I think Pompey's infantry has been rested now. So his troops are okay to be used now. As I say, it's always best if any of your team has got tired, very tired or exhausted troops, if you can, rest them to fresh if you can before you start becoming aggressive towards the enemy. Okay, because as I say, tired, very tired or exhausted troops, their morale is very low and their battle proficiency is very low as well. You can see our Julii ally here watching the enemy cavalry. They're making sure they're not going to come down and hit us in the flank as we start to slowly maybe move towards the Carthaginian massed spearmen there. Don't forget, they still got a lot of their slingers that every time we move they'll be shooting into us, causing us casualties. As I say, remember they had 19 Balearic slingers at the beginning of the battle, and I think it's 24. I think they're all fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry as well. So as I say, as the battle starts to unfold a bit more, that massive cavalry advantage that the enemy have got now could well start to tell. Okay, so just have to watch out for that. You can see here moving forward here. I remember at this stage of the battle, knowing that our flank is going to be covered from enemy cavalry by our Julii ally there, I was starting to think where I'd want to put my my infantry. Okay. Trying to start to think tactically here. You can see Pompey, being his usual aggressive self, moving towards those sacred band spearmen. So it looks to me like those sacred band spearmen are going to form up in that little clearing there in front of the woods. That looks like a place they're going to form up there. So I remember starting to think to myself here, I'm going to have to start thinking tactically. Bang! As this sacred band cavalry there charges into one of Scorpion King's infantry units there. But if you notice, Scorpion King held well there, and now you've got other cavalry, enemy cavalry arriving there as well. But you can see here that our Julii ally has got reinforcements there for infantry against all that enemy cavalry. As I say, mind, don't forget the enemy slingers are shooting into us all the time, especially when we move. Okay, so you can see I'm moving my infantry forward here. Let's say you can see where the enemy are going to form up there with their spearmen. Now what I'm thinking here, I'm starting to think tactically here with my infantry, where I'm going to put my infantry if the enemy does form up in that clearing. Okay, and it looks to me like that's exactly what Earth and Luke are going to do with their spearmen. They're going to form up in this clearing here. Okay, so that looks like where they're going to form up. I think most of us have thrown most of our pilots. We might have a few pilots left, but not many. Here you can see enemy cavalry coming round here. Earth's cavalry. He may well hide it in the woods, or he may well decide to smash into the rear of our troops there. But as I say, you've got all these slingers here shooting into us. And of course, moving troops are even more susceptible to damage as they're moving from missile troops. And as I say, you've got the cavalry, enemy cavalry out there as well. Okay, so as I say, it looks to me like the enemy have decided where they're going to form up with their spearmen. So we've got to start thinking tactically. Now remember, at this time, thinking to myself, what I would like to do here, seeing how the enemy have formed up there, is to get in behind them. Okay, so I remember with my Scipii army there, I was thinking about cutting through the woods there and then getting in behind them, and then my allies could attack them from the front. And if I get my my infantry somewhere over here maybe, or a little bit further round maybe, if I get my infantry round there, then of course I'd be in behind them. My allies could attack from the front and I could attack from the rear. Okay, so there's the enemy troops. So if I got my infantry, say, in behind them there could be like a sandwich attack between my allies attacking from the front, and as I say, me attacking from the rear. So you'll notice there that I'm starting to move my Scipii army round there, but I'm very aware of that cavalry moving as well. Now bearing in mind, I'm going to be taking casualties from those slingers that are shooting into the flank of my infantry as I'm moving, but I am aware of that enemy cavalry starting to move around the flank a little bit there. But as I say, that's the intention there, is for my army to get in behind the Carthage Sacred Band troops there, spearmen there, and my allies to attack from the front while I attack from the rear. Okay, but if I move around the rear, I will be isolated from my allies. Okay, now remember that the enemy have got a big cavalry advantage here. Every one of their units, I believe, is fully upgraded. So if I do go behind those Sacred Band spearmen, as I say, my army will be isolated from my allies. But here you can see Pompey being his usual aggressive self there and starting to attack the forward units of that Sacred Band formation there. And as I say, you can see our Julii allies moving over as well. But as I say, from my Scipii army, what I want to do is just keep moving around the rear of those spearmen there, but try and be very mindful of the enemy cavalry. As I say, these slingers here, make no mistake, have been causing us a lot of casualties there. And remember that slingers have got 40 slingshots, where archers have only got 30 arrows. So the slingers have got a lot more ammunition than the archers are there. But as I say, you can see me moving my infantry round behind there, starting to move behind the Carthage Sacred Band spearmen, while my allies start to engage from the front. Now I dare say we've got some pilots left, but we haven't got a lot of pilots left to throw into them. There you can see some of our pilots going into those Sacred Band spearmen there, but my guess is that most of us have used most of our pilots up. There are some more pilots going in, I think, if I remember right, I might have a few pilots left in my Scipii army, but I used most of them on that Germanic attack earlier in the battle. So I know I haven't got a lot left there. But as I say, you can see me moving gradually around behind the Carthage Sacred Band. But as I say, you can see my army now is quite isolated from my allies. Okay, so I need to watch out for enemy cavalry because, as I say, they've got fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry around those woods areas. So I need to be mindful of that as my allies start to attack the Carthage Sacred Band troops head on there. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I say, I've managed to do what I wanted to do, get in behind the Carthaginians, and my allies are looking like they're going to attack them from the front there. Okay, but look at the enemy cavalry out here, and as I say, getting around behind the Carthage spearmen might be a reasonably good tactical move, but I need to be very careful of being isolated there for the enemy fully upgraded cavalry to attack. Okay, they've got cavalry all over the place as well. They'd be hitting my infantry from different angles with that fully upgraded cavalry. So, as I say, I need to keep an eye on that cavalry as well as trying to put pressure on these Sacred Band spearmen from behind there. Okay, so you can see there we're trying to sandwich attack there. My Brutii and Judei allies attacking from the front, and my Scipii army in behind the Sacred Band spearmen. Okay, so as I say, we've positioned ourselves quite well there, really, up against these Sacred Band spearmen. There, can you see what it says? Distraught over the number of enemies. Okay, if you notice there, just read the writing there, you'll see. Can you see? Distraught over a number of enemies. Okay, so that means their morale is low. Okay, so the Carthage Sacred Band troops' morale is low. Maybe it just needs a big push, and we could start a chain rout there, possibly. But we just have to see. So they're distraught over the number of troops there. Okay, now here's that enemy cavalry I was telling you about there. They're probably going to look to get behind me here, so I need to be aware of that. Okay, you can see that's mostly, I think that's Luke's and Chucky's cavalry. If you remember Earth's cavalry we looked at a little bit earlier, they're on the other side of my infantry. But as I say, I need to be aware of that. They may well go for my general, and unfortunately, as I say, we looked at this before, the general of the general unit is always on the left hand side of the unit. And there you are, you can see my generals on the left side, just where that enemy cavalry could smash in there to take him out, and therefore take the general morale bonus away. Okay, but you can see our troops really pressing in there. And if you notice here, I'm going to press in as well, get close to them with my infantry there. As you can see, I'm pushing forward into that Sacred Band spear formation there. And you can see my allies are pushing in as well. But as I say, you can see that fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry getting in behind me. I need to be aware of that. I need to start to turn units to face the threat of that cavalry coming in. And you can see I have changed some of my units to face behind. Right, here comes Luke's fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. Get ready for this. And bang! As he smashes in there. Right, you can see I'm trying to counter that cavalry. Looks like I've just killed the general there, one of the Carthage generals there. But you can see I'm charging my infantry and they're trying to counter that, and there's bang! Another lot of fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry of Chucky's charging in there as well. So that was a nice combination attack of Luke and Chucky there, in with their fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. Nice there. I thought it was a nice attack there, but you can see here we've routed Chucky's general, so that's good news for us. They've lost a general morale bonus from Chucky's general. That's excellent news there. You can see I've still got infantry unit pressing in on the enemy spearmen themselves. I lost a few of my infantry units there from those massive fully upgraded cavalry attacks there, and you can see now they're taking their cavalry in behind me again, looking to charge in to my Scipii troops once again there. And don't forget, Earth's cavalry is in the woods as well. That could come in from another different angle there. So we'll just have to see what they're going to do with their cavalry. So there's a nice bit of cover here by Uther, bringing some of his infantry over to counter that cavalry of Chucky's there. Nice move. Can you see we're pressing in now? We're actually pushing in on that Carthage Sacred Band spearman. Right, here comes Luke's cavalry, and bang! bang, as he charges in there. Fully upgraded cavalry there. And here comes Earth's cavalry as well. Look, and bang, as they charge in as well. I think that's my general's just been taken out. And look at that massive fully upgraded cavalry attack. And some more cavalry coming in behind me as well. Look. And bang, as that charges in as well. So we've got all this fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry smashing into my infantry there. Really nice attack there by the enemy team. Really nice coordinated cavalry attack as well. That is really smashing into my Scipii infantry. But my allies here, with a bit of help from me as well, has managed to take out all the Sacred Band spearmen there. So we've done well now. And if you notice, my allies are now coming over to help me against the enemy fully upgraded Sacred Band cavalry. And there you go. And I think the enemy have just admitted defeat there. So it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. Just say well done to everybody in the game there. So I thought everybody played well. Okay, so what we're going to do here, this is a really, really spread out battlefield here. If we look all the way over here, which was our right flank, you remember Scorpion King was fighting over here against Luke. Do you remember all the way over here? So you can see that the dead trail, if you like, starts all the way over here on our right flank. As I say, where Scorpion King was fighting against Luke there. And as we move along the battlefield over towards the left flank, you'll see more dead as we move across. As I say, it's like following the dead trail here across this massive battlefield. As we move across here, look, all the way across, as you can see, it looks like wherever you look, there's been a skirmish or a group of dead there. Just look at this here. You see this? This is where the Germanic troops attacked my Scipii army there. Remember that? That was a massive tussle there where they all charged in. If you look there closely, you'll see a heck of a lot of dead German troops there. There you can see a load. I think that's where Uther's cavalry smashed into them there. Loads of dead Germanic troops. And as we move across here, look, more dead. Here you can see as we move across here. I think this is the area where we lost all our cavalry. Yeah, you can see Uther's Julii cavalry. And I think my Scipii cavalry are dead in the snow there as well. If you look, see my dead Scipii cavalry. So this is where Uther and myself lost all our cavalry to the coordinated attack of the enemy Sacred Band cavalry. More dead here, look. And then we move over to that little clearing where the Sacred Band spearmen made their last stand there. You can see a mass of dead there. So, yeah, it was a pretty good battle there. I think it could be a close battle there. I think, what do you reckon? It could be close or maybe scrape up into average. Where do you reckon it's going to go there? Just have to see. There, it's like, but I thought it was an unusual battle, this. It's unusual to fight 3 Carthage armies. Okay, so first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. We thought everybody played well there, guys. It was a really great battle. And as you can see, it was an average victory. Probably just scraped up into average there. Maybe should have been close. The highest kills in the game. Okay, and that goes to Brotherhood member Uther. 1,682 kills. So well done to Uther. Got some good kills there. Really well played to him. Did extremely well there with his infantry and cavalry. A nice aggressive attack from the beginning. Okay, so well done to Luke. Got some good kills with Carthage there. Remember, I think he only had 7 spearmen in his army. Well done to Earth. Got some quite good kills with Carthage there as well. Well done to Chucky. Got some good kills as well. Unfortunately, RV Monarch didn't get that many kills there. Unfortunately for him, but I thought he still played well. Very aggressive with Germania. So really well played, guys. Did really well there. Well played. And you can see my kills there. Not very good. If you notice there, just 855 kills. But if you notice, for most of the game, I was quite defensive. If you notice, remember RGW rewards good kills for attacking aggressive play there. So not very good kills for me there. Well done to Pompey. Got some really good kills. As I say, very aggressive with his army as he always is. Great kills for him there. As I say, Uther, highest kills in the game. Really well done. And well done to Scorpion King. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but he did really well on that right flank. So once again, really well played to everybody in the game. And just to say, one player in this game didn't say good game at the end of the game. He left before the end of the game. And I'm just going to say, whether you win or lose, it's always polite and respectful to say good game. If you just leave without saying anything, it kind of gives the impression that you're a rage quitter and that you're throwing your computer around the front room at the moment while you're raging so much. So it's always best, whether you win or whether you lose, just say good game. It's respectful and polite, and you'll notice that most players do that. Okay, Spartan Commander saying, I hope you enjoyed the battle. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.